5 seconds to go. Start. These proceedings originate from the writ petition under Article 32 of the Constitution of India, registered as WP Civil Number 202 of 1995, which is in the nature of a public interest litigation. It was instituted for protection of forest lands in the Nilgiris district of the state of Tamil Nadu. Subsequently, the scope of that writ petition was enlarged so as to protect such natural resources throughout the country. The original writ petitioner has since passed away on 1st June 2016, but in an order passed on 3rd February 2017, this court opined that being a public interest litigation, there was no requirement for bringing on record the legal representatives of the deceased petitioner. Various orders have been passed from time to time in this writ petition to ensure preservation of forest resources of this country in balance with economic activities. By an order of this court dated 9th May 2002, a Central Empowered Committee CEC was directed to be formed primarily for monitoring implementation of this court's orders and to place the incidents of non-compliance before us. Subsequently, by a notification issued on 17 September 2002 by the Ministry of Environment and Forest in exercise of power under Section 3(3) of the Environment Protection Act 1986, this committee was constituted under statutory provisions. CEC has been bringing to the notice of this court the steps taken for removal of encroachment, implementation of working plans, compensatory afforestation, plantation and other conservation issues. In this order, we shall be mainly dealing with two sets of issues. The first set relates to mining activities in and around a wildlife sanctuary in the state of Rajasthan known as Jamua Ramgarh. The second set of issues is wider in scope and involves prescribing eco-sensitive zones ESZ surrounding the wildlife sanctuaries and national parks. The subject of mining and other commercial activities within the wildlife sanctuaries and national parks, protected forests shall also be dealt by us in this order. The applications before us require examination in the perspective of a set of recommendations made by the CEC, and we have been urged by a set of applicants to make certain modifications of this court's earlier directions concerning steps to be taken for protection of forest resources. The applicants seeking modifications of our earlier orders include a set of minors and in some cases the state governments asking for opening up of the protected forest areas and their buffer zones on which restrictions have been placed in by our earlier orders for commercial exploitation. There is dispute as to what would constitute the buffer zones on ESZ in respect of national parks and wildlife sanctuaries, as there are divergence of views among the various stakeholders. The present set of applications arise out of a report of the CEC dated 20th November 2003. This report specifically pertains to Jamua Ramgarh Wildlife Sanctuary. This sanctuary covers an area of about 300 square kilometers. The said report gives a horrific picture of ravaging of a protected forest mainly by private miners, mostly with temporary working permits obtained from the governmental agencies. Stop.